in Florence, Italy, and this is an Art-to-Heart interview with Chris Dellorco.
I like the way you say my name because Americans cannot say my name. They say Dellorco,
Oh, really?
Dellorca, but you say it Dellorco. Dellorco,
Yes, the
proper. I
Italian
like
way.
that. Thank you.
Yes. And Chris, first of all, I want to thank you for everything, for your time to be here, for taking the time and the energy to be present at this exhibition.
Very exciting, and thank you for inviting me. And you put on a great show, and it's a great excuse for me to come to Italy because I love Italy so much. So it's just thank you.
Yeah, I guess you have been a friend of the magazine since the beginning.
Yes, that's right. Since the second issue, I think, right? It was the second issue. Yes, yes, where I was on the back cover, and you guys have been so supportive of me since. You gave even in that one, you gave me a big article with a lot of images, and you have to know, especially publishing an art magazine, how important publicity is to an artist. You know, doesn't matter how good you are if people don't see your art, then you're painting by yourself, you know. So it's really, I can't tell you how thankful we are to get the publicity. You know, it's really.
And here we are. This is Chris's work on our cover. My goodness. And I am so happy with this piece. And yeah, it looks fantastic. Really. It's like the whole team was involved on this cover.
Well, and again, not you guys do such a great job because often when I have my stuff printed, the colors are wrong or it's bad paper or you know. But you guys, it's glossy, it looks beautiful. You know, you guys do a really good job, and the design, and then the article is really good. And you didn't change almost anything of what I said because often when you get quoted, things change. So in every way, you guys really had done a professional. I couldn't be happier with it. Yeah.
And okay, so we go to Chris Lorco now. And enough. I have to reveal my secret. 8 years ago, I was in Saratoga Springs, New York, and I received this magazine, uh, which we know, and it's a great magazine. And I received this magazine. There was this amazing piece, and it caught my attention. And then I read your name, and I said, "Oh wow, I really enjoy. There's something about it." So I've been following it for a while as an artist, and then we got involved with the magazine, and then we had the contest. I was really touched with you being humble to enter our contest. Seriously.
I was just saying to you, I never enter contests. In a funny way, I hate the idea of art being judged, so that's why I don't enter them. But then I don't know why. I got the email. Just you sent an email to me, and I was like, I have something that's good for that idea, which was it was the issue on love. It was Valentine's, and I said I've got this one painting. I'll send it in. And again, I never enter contests, but it made the back cover, and it was very exciting for me. And then you guys did the article with me and everything, so it was really yeah, it was a good experience.
So I learned that you have been a graphic artist, commercial artist for a while, which I didn't know back then. And I know you have a lot of experience doing work for Walt Disney. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, I originally I did airbrush with acrylics, and I used to do a lot of movie posters. And then I started doing some stuff for Disney. A friend of mine was working for Disney, and he said, "Hey, you know, bring your stuff in." And I started doing some work for them, and they kept using me more and more. And pretty soon, we were doing. I was just doing a huge amount for them. I actually went. Very early with them, I went digital, and I had to fight with them to do. I was doing Photoshop, and I started on Photoshop too. That's how long ago I was doing it. And I was fighting with them, let me do the digital. And they were like, no, we like your airbrush. We don't want digital. It doesn't look good. And I said, I will do it for free if you don't like it. And I'll do an airbrush painting for you if you don't like it. So I did it. It was the first thing that they've ever printed that was digital. And now if you gave them a piece of art at Disney, they would laugh and go, "What do we do with this? We want digital," you know. So it was. But what's funny? So I was working with them for many years doing the digital stuff, and they finally figured out, because I had several people working for me in my studio. I wasn't working at Disney; I was a freelancer, and they finally figured out, why are we paying this guy all this money when we have artists that work here? And within a year, I went from having 3 people, we had so much work we didn't know what to do with, to having none. But that's the funny thing about life, is sometimes the worst thing creates the best fortune, because suddenly I had to fire all my guys. I had a lot of free time. So I said, I'm tired of doing digital. I want to do something that doesn't change. The technology is the same. Oil painting, like this, has stayed the same for the last 500 years. There's no change. And I got back to doing my oil painting, which I had forgotten about. And so the tragedy ended up being an opportunity. And now I do a little bit of advertising still, advertising, illustration art, but now it really is almost all oil painting. Most of my career is now changed to oil painting. So it really turned out to be a good thing, although at the time I was not very happy.
Wow. Can you tell us how a day in your studio goes? What is your daily routine?
It's very disciplined. People think that if you're an artist, like, people often go to me, "Well, you're an artist. You can paint when you want, right?" And I've learned over the years it's easier to have a structure than it is to just allow yourself to work when you feel like it, because then you fight in your head a lot. Some days you would rather go to the beach, and then you have to make yourself. So I just, over the years, I start at 9 almost every morning. And this is not the Italian way, at 1 o'clock. I eat lunch for a half an hour at 1 o'clock. Not the Italian way. I've lost my heritage. And then I work till 6. So it's about a 9-hour day, pretty focused. I just work, and I'm by myself most of it. I go on Facebook to keep myself entertained. And then it feels like there's people in the room. And that's pretty much how my schedule goes. Sometimes I'll work more before this show. When I was preparing, I was working more weekends and things like that. So it's a very disciplined, it's not the free, easy structure that most people do. Not to be professional. If you're going to be professional, you have to put the time in.
You do have a very supportive family.
They have, it's very interesting, because I was an economics major in college, and I think I was doing what they expected me to do. And then I graduated, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to do art, and they had grown up knowing a lot of artists. The area that I grew up in Los Angeles was almost all musicians and writers and artists. So I think they kind of understood. My mother, I think, was always disappointed that I wasn't going to be a lawyer, an economist, or something. But once she started seeing me, the kind of art I was doing, I think she came around. And ultimately, I think she's very proud. And my father, actually, in his 20s, he tried to be an artist but wasn't very successful. So I think he's a little jealous. Yeah.
And our Art to Heart interviews, I always ask something about the heart. And this year's theme is inspiration. Because, so when I have a successful artist like you in front of the cameras, I want to inspire people out there. They are probably college students or art students just graduating, the beginning of the beginning. So I want you to say something to everybody out there. What your advice is? A word of encouragement? What comes from your mind because you have had a great experience?
Well, I'll say something that's funny that most people will be surprised at. I say, don't dream, because dreams mean that they don't really happen. If you dream something, it's in your sleep. It's not happening. Do it. If you want something, you imagine it, you set your goal, you work hard, and you do it. Because I meet a lot of creative people that keep talking about what they want to do and their imagination, and they get a smile on their face, but it never happens because they're dreaming. So to me, the only way to do something you love, especially when it's something you love, is with a lot of hard work and a lot of focus, and that's how you make that happen. So I say do. If you want to be an artist, do it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate your time. And again, I appreciate your presence here. It really makes us, you're a featured artist, and we're so, so, so proud and honored to have you. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank everybody out there listening, and grab the magazine and read the story, because there's a whole interview in here with more details about Chris. And how can we reach you? Can you tell everybody how they can see your work online?
You can find me online at dellorcofineart.com. Dellorcofineart. Dellorco Fine Art.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Ciao.